Welcome to the practice. This is Tracy from Debbie Daily Life with another Kundalini Yoga practice for you today. We'll come into a seated position and tune in and get straight into the practice. Bring the hands together in front of the heart space. Taking a breath in. Feeling the breath come deeply into the belly. Release breath, and we'll tune in, breathing in to begin. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Adgareda Jugatgareda me, Satgareda me, Siddhi Gurudeve Name. Adgareda Jugatgareda me, Satgareda me, Siddhi Gurudeve Name. Adgareda Jugatgareda me, Satgareda me, Siddhi Gurudeve Name. Taking a breath in, taking the time to set the intention for today's practice, where you want to feel an expansion, a evolution, an elevation in some part. It's a great time to set that intention or that focus. Today's practice is in honor of Aries, of being a spiritual warrior, in moving forward with truth and wanting a more grounded experience of moving into the future. First, coming onto the hands and knees for cat-cow. Breathing in as we pull forward, dropping the belly, arching the spine, head comes up. We mentally say Sat, and then we round and pull the spine back up towards the ceiling. Nam, breathing in, pulling forward. Inhale Sat, exhale Nam as we round out. Third eye focus, deeply moving, finding your speed, find your pace, find where your movement wants to be today, and allow the spine to gently warm up. We aim to insert Sat Nam into our mind when we're doing the practices as a way of leading ourselves, so that we're giving the mind the direction to focus on, and we're embedding Sat Nam into every part of our practice, and that becomes available through every part of our life. Truth is my name, truth is my nature. Embedding it deeply in all parts of your cellular being. And if it's available to you, starting to speed up, finding a little more depth, a little more reach, a little more breath. This is a great practice for if you do nothing every day except this, you will at least be keeping your spine fluid. More breath, deeper breath. The breath should be stronger than the movement. The sound in the mind should be stronger than the breath. Sat Nam. And then pulling forward, big breath in, hold, squeeze Mula Bandha, drop the belly, project forward, feeling that future being instilled with Sat Nam, with a strength of conviction. Exhale the breath, round, up, push through the hands into the floor, ground down, and then dropping your way back into easy pose, into baby pose, or Guru Pranam, arms out the front, in prayer position, third eye drops into the floor and release. Breathe and release. And coming up onto staying on the heels in rock pose, we'll begin in rock pose. We will go into spinal flexors, similar to cat-cow. We want to elongate through as we round the spine, but the neck stays in the same straight line, so we're not jolting the neck. The head is looking directly forward. The eyes can be closed, third eye focus. Breathing in as we pull forward, Sat. Exhaling as we pull back, rounding the spine, Nam, Sat, Nam. Deep breath. Our ability to penetrate into our future is based on having a clear line between our intent rising from our belly, from our first, second and third chakras, and being projected out through our higher chakra centers, including that how we express and how we communicate what we want is in complete alignment with what we are creating out of those lower chakras. And we get the power and force to project forward, create a future based on a current desire. Taking a breath in, pulling in Mula Bandha, hold, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release the breath, coming back into easy pose. We'll move into ego eradicator with breath of fire. If you are pregnant, if you are on the first couple of days of your cycle, you will do long, slow, deep breathing. The fingers come onto the pads, the thumbs plug up into the sky. Breath of fire, you're on the clock. equal inhale, exhale, finding that spot between the belly, the navel center, the solar plexus, where the inhale, exhale can sit at a speed and a rhythm that is maintainable. So that I focus, beaming that elevated version of you forward into the future. Straightening the elbows up. Finding a way to come into even more depth in the breath. Even more releasing into the strength of the body. And even more beaming of the third eye into the future. And taking a breath in, allowing the thumbs to come overhead, touching. The fingers extend upwards towards the sky, pulling up straight, hold, squeeze. Hold, 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 squeeze. Energy coming up the spine. Exhale, one more time, breathe in. And squeeze, up, 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 project, squeeze. Become the elevated version of you. Release the hands, let them float down through the auric field. Touching the fingers onto the ground. The strengthening of the auric field is part of how we can hold and project into the future. That we have the protection and the projection mechanisms in order to hold what we're creating. Bringing the feet out in front, straight. And to begin with, so the full expression is to grab the big toes with the peace fingers and the thumbs press into the nail pads. If that's not available to begin with, then on the shins, on the knees, and inhaling at the top, exhaling as you move forward, bending over from the hip crease. If the movement is small, that's totally fine. What you want to do is not crunch the lower back. Inhale, exhale. Inhale up, exhale down. Satnam, satnam, finding your pace, finding your speed. Nice strong breath through the nose. We begin here to really stretch out that life nerve. So you can be stretching out those legs even more, finding that bend, seeing if the breath can take you into a deeper expression of the pose. And breathing in at the top. Exhale as you bend forward and just lay forward for a little moment. And And coming out, extending the legs wide. And we inhale and bring the hands up over the head. Turn to the left. Exhale down. Inhale up. Turn to the right. Exhale down. Continuing. Again, finding where you can find your bend and your extension. Inhaling, exhaling, Satnam, third eye focus. Continuing to beam, beam, beam forward into that future version of you that you're moving into, that you're expanding into, that you're creating the ability to extend into through the practice and through your intent. Allowing these forward stretches to get stronger and deeper if that's available to you. The breath nice and strong, nice and deep. Again, more life nerve stretch from a slightly different angle. The life nerve and keeping that movement is again like the spine, just helps with that continued flexible mobility of the energy to move through the body. Helps us stay vital and youthful. And pulling up to the top, inhale, and then release forward, straight down, as far as you can come. Breathing long, deep, seeing if the breath allows the expansion to release and drop forward. And then bringing the feet together in butterfly. Clasping the hands around the feet. Inhale as you bring the knees up. Exhale as you drop the knees down. Finding a rhythm of this butterfly with the breath that allows the hip joints to open. Allowing the breath to just naturally come into this movement. Beautiful. Dropping the knees down. And now, if it's available to you, there are some modifications to this, but basically if you can grab your toes and then bend back and pull the feet out and up, balancing on the buttocks. And finding what's available for breath of fire, holding that position. And feeling this sense of floating through air, and this beautiful balance. releasing the posture, bringing the legs down. Feel free to give them a bit of a wriggle and a shake. Just come back into easy pose for a moment before we start the Kriya. We're doing this awesome practice called Let the Liver Live. And with Let the Liver Live, we are really allowing ourselves to detoxify and work the liver through this great practice. And this is, so this video that you're watching now, you could certainly use this for a 11-day or 40-day practice. Let the liver live, moving for us in Australia, moving into spring, great time to do this as a repeated practice. So making your way onto your left-hand side, down on your mat, legs are out straight, you're on the left-hand side of the body, the left hand comes under the head to hold the head, the right foot comes up and we reach for the toes and holding the big toes. And just get into this position. Just do some breath work to begin with. Hopefully those previous warm-ups have helped you in the first part of this Kriya to be able to grab those toes. If not, you can grab around the shin or get a band around the foot and begin breath of fire. Eyes closed, aiming for that leg to be as straight as possible. If you need to bend the left knee slightly underneath the body, but the full normal expression or the full expression is that it's straight out. Beautiful. Continuing to find a way to sit in that breath of fire, sit in that extended leg. This directly activates the liver on the right hand side. You might even be feeling some of that movement. Beautiful. And inhale, exhale, release and relax the leg down. And then coming onto your back. So the full expression of this posture is wheel pose, which is where you're lying on your back and you place the palms on the floor above the shoulders and the fingers point back towards the shoulders. You bend the knees and you arch the body up, feet flat on the floor. If that full expression is not available to you, you can move into bridge pose, and you'll bring the feet up towards the buttocks, pressing up through the hips so that the hips are high above the heart and the shoulders. Arms are in underneath the body, and breathing in through the nose, out through the nose, then in through the mouth and out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the nose, in through the mouth, out through the mouth, and continuing that sequence. Inhale, pressing up, hold, squeeze, exhale and release down onto the floor. Just release the legs out, take a moment. If you need to, bring the knees up onto the chest and roll on the lower back just to release it slightly. And make your way back onto the left side of the body, and we'll go back into the leg hold position again. Holding the neck, holding the head, grabbing the big toe, the right hand leg, and this time the breath of fire isn't with an O mouth breath. Open mouth breath sequences have a more direct correlation with detoxing of the organs. So as we move deeper into this let the liver live practice, this moving into the O mouth is really helping us to kind of get directly into the liver. And feel free to be focused specifically on your liver as you're doing any of these practices, and releasing and making available to you lots of fresh energy, lots of fresh blood, removal of any toxins from the body. And take an inhale, exhale, release the leg down. And we're going to come up to a forward bend. So the legs are apart approximately, it says 18 to 24 inches, which, basically is about 45 centimeters apart, give or take. And you want to bend forward and stretch the hands back through the legs to touch the floor or wherever you can come to. And really try and straighten out those legs as much as possible. Just a normal breath to begin with. We're here for a little while, so finding a way to release into this posture. Nice deep breaths. Deep stretching, deep releasing. And moving into the next part of this, we continue in the same posture, but we roll the tongue and begin breath of fire. So it's the rolled tongue that we use in Satali. So if you can't feel like you can roll your tongue specifically, push the tongue out and breathe over the top of the tongue. So an active breath of fire through the mouth with a rolled tongue. Good. Take an inhale, finishing off that breath and hold. Then release and just allow yourself to slowly come out of the posture, bending the knees if you need to, coming out and then coming back down onto the ground, back onto the left side of the body, hand back under the head. Grabbing the toe, and we're going to do a powerful cannon breath for a much shorter period of time. You're on the clock. Cannon breath through the mouth and go. Give it all the breath that you've got. And breathing in and releasing the posture, coming out of the posture. And we're going to move into doing stand-ups. So the idea for this is that you're actually not using the hands for support. Now that may or may not be available to you, but see how you go. So what you want to do is just be standing up and sitting down, if possible, just purely using the legs. You're on the clock. The full time for this is doing it for 52 times. We won't be doing it for that long. So giving it your best. This is a profoundly strengthening and stabilizing practice to do. Fundamentally very simple, but quite challenging on some levels. And if you have any issues like I do with one of my ankles, then it can be a little bit tricky. If you need to support yourself with your hands, then that's just how it goes. Good. Last 3. Up. Down. Last 2. Up. Down. The last one. Up. And down. Beautiful. Take a breath in, pat yourself on the back. And making your way up to standing. You're going to do these beautiful torso rotations. So hands go on the hips, and you want to roll in really large torso, in large circles of the upper part of the body, moving around in the circle and allowing yourself to kind of bend all the way through. This should feel exceptionally wonderful. Allowing yourself to really enjoy this beautiful piece of the practice. Thanking your liver for all the hard work it does all the time, and how little of a break we generally give our livers. And finishing the last rotation, bringing the feet together a little, just standing in mountain pose. Hands are open, face forward, but in a relaxed stance. Allow the shoulders to roll back and down the back of the body. Eyes are closed, grounding into the floor. Experience the warrior who is pushing forward to victory in the future, through victory in the moment. Project and beam from that third eye space as a command. And then making your way down onto the floor for total relaxation, covering the body fully releasing. Deeply relaxing. And then coming back into the body, feeling the fingers and the toes, wriggling, moving, stretching the hands up above the head, full length stretch. Feel the spine elongate, feel the torso do little snaky moves to release the spine. Allow the hands to gently touch the face and come down the body. And then to meet the right knee as it comes up to the chest. And you cat stretch over. To one side, and then repeating the cat stretch on the other. Both the knees onto the chest, rolling from side to side. And then taking a little bit of time to roll up and down the spine a number of times. Each time rolling, getting a little bit more momentum and trying to get as much of a spinal massage all the way up and down the spine. Allow the breath to deepen. And when you're ready, coming up to a seated position into easy pose for our meditation. We'll be in easy pose for the entire duration of this practice. So you're going to put the fingers into Venus lock, and you'll have the thumbs will be sitting into the soft mounds of the between the hands and the index finger. So where you're going to have is that you'll have bent elbows, and the hands will be 6 inches from the crown of the head. Eyes are 1/10 open. Deeply inhale. Suspend the breath in. Deeply exhale. Suspend the breath out. Continuing, you're on the clock. Long, deep, complete breaths. Deeply inhale and suspend. Completely exhaling and suspending. And continuing. This meditation is offered in reverence to our mental capacity and creativity. The spine must be straight and the hands held over the head at all times in order to cover the body's magnetic field. The hands themselves act as a neutral polarity to the electromagnetism that the meditation builds up. For the first few minutes, you may experience nothing but misery and discomfort. But if you can go through the pain, you will enter into a relaxation such as you have never before experienced. If you are honest with yourself in practicing this meditation, you can gain as much spiritual stamina as you like. Continuing that breath. Inhale, holding the position. Exhale, relax, coming out of the position. Hands can be in the lap or Gyan Mudra on the knees. Dropping deeply, beaming through the third eye. And bringing the hands together, we'll complete the practice with the long time sun and 3 satnams. And I invite you to project the offerings, the blessings of this practice to anybody in the world that you would like to. Even if that is yourself, offer it up that it may benefit all beings. Taking a breath in, exhale, inhale to begin. May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Thank you.